Grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch. No, real women don't. 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 Real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Already tongue-tied at the beginning of the podcast? That's a big indicator that this is going to be an interesting one. Hey, ladies. It's your girl, August Crenshaw, and I am here with my favorite person on the planet, Pika Boo, and we are doing the live podcast recording early. See what I'm saying? What am I saying? We're doing the live podcast recording. It's
such a touchy subject.
Yes, it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I am just flubbermouth right about now, but I promise you the nuggets will be spewing out once we get into the convo. So, hey. So here we go. I got these clients, right? And I've had these clients, and I know that in the future I will have more clients that ask the magic question: how much should I charge? And so there's one person in particular that's in my mind right now, but there's been several people that have always been like, well, I think I'm gonna charge this much. I think I'm gonna charge that much. And you'll hear the gurus say things like, there's a reason why this person charged $47 for the same thing that someone else charges, $500 for, and somebody else charges $5,000 for it. And so there's this really big old dispute over how much should you charge. And I'm gonna be honest with you, even though whoever listens to this, when you listen to it, you're not working with me, you can for real take this podcast episode. It's going to turn into a really great episode for mindset work, for you to really look at what you're charging. Because like I said, I'm bringing a component to you guys for some things that came up in my group. So why don't we rewind it back, Pika? What were you saying at the top of this conversation?
So way back in the beginning, I was good with chiming in and giving my opinion and helping people out, but I did not want to ask for money. So the first price I ever put out there was way low. It was nowhere near what I was worth. And I think I still got, time to work up to where I should be charging, but still that first price is kind of like a moot point. It's not the price you're ever going to feel good about until later on, but it's where you got to start, right? So we start where we're comfortable.
Hey, Jacqueline. I see Jacqueline's watching. Actually, there's a couple other people too, but Facebook is not always that friendly to me, but it also may be people from the watch party or what have you. But yeah, so let's talk about this. And then I believe that the best way to help you guys is through personal experience. So I'm going to tell you some things that I dealt with. And I'm going to sound like I'm all over the place. And that's going to be because these price points and the experiences I'm going to tell you about, even though they're in a straight row, they're all over the place. And so when I initially got into the online arena, my natural inclination was to just do the research. And, and I started off with life coaching. Oh, okay. Usually somewhere between $80 to $125. You got a couple of big wigs out there that are charging $250 an hour or per session. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, let me just find that middle ground and let me charge $100. And this is me all on my own on the solo, right? And let me just reiterate this. I've got to share this conversation about pricing because I don't care how much any of my clients have charged. I've always tested their faith by requiring them to raise their price. I don't care what it is. I already know, especially with women, you need to be charging more because unfortunately, it is not in our nature. Men are more aggressive. They'll be like, I want $50,000 for this. You'll be like, dude, it's only worth 20. They start high so they can go low, and women naturally start low and then expect to elevate and go high. And so we got to break this vicious cycle because this is what we do. But I'm a different breed of woman, right? So I would, first of all, I was coming into a field I didn't really understand. And when we doing the research, I was like, okay, 80 to 125. I figured I'd take that middle ground at $100. But what made me double, like literally double my price immediately, is that when I first met with someone and I told them that's what I was charging, they were like, here. I was like, damn, what happened to all of the, resistance and, potential working through objections? Now, I know I'm a hell of a salesperson, but still, it was so quick that I was like, fuck that, I ain't charging enough. And that's just being real. And so then I went up to $200. I was charging $97 for a strategy session, $200 a pop. And the next client that came to me, she asked me, how does it work? I said, well, you do the strategy session first. We talk, then I'll make my recommendation, for how long I should be coaching you, yada, yada, yada. And I got this notification that 2 strategy sessions were paid for by the same person. I was like, oh God, and I had Infusionsoft. How the hell do I reverse this other charge because it double billed, or she pushed the button twice and didn't let it reset? Reached out to her. She's like, oh, no, you said you have 1 session for 1 topic. I want to talk to you about 2 topics. So I went ahead and booked you for 2 sessions. And then when I told her that the rate was $200, and this woman had no business in it at all. Like I said, this is totally life coaching. Once again, not only did she not have a problem paying me, you guys, the first 2 sessions were so dope. She was like, because she used to meet with me every other Saturday. She was like, can we do every Saturday? I'm like, I got somebody paying me $800 a month to fix their fucking life. Yes. Wait a minute, something's wrong with that. So my brain was like, no, August, you're still not charging enough. And then I went to $300. Now, by the time I'm at $300, I'm having to wrestle with some things that are on my conscience, right? Because I feel bad. Because somewhere in the middle of all of this, I paid for one of those coaching programs by one of those big wigs who said, if you're going to be coaching somebody, yes, even if it's to fucking change their life, you don't charge less than $5,000. And I swear to God, I try to put it out there. I tried to, but I could never put a link. I could never do a call to action. I could never say that was it. And it's because it did not feel right to me.
Yep.
And so we are going to have a conversation about when you push your prices beyond when it feels comfortable versus when do you sit in that place of when it feels right and why. So I'm going to take you through my journey, but I'm going to stop because I know I've said a lot, and I'm sure Pika probably wants to chime in on this.
Well, real quick, I know that Damari and Lynn are watching, and Lynn chimed in and said, yes, I'm charging what I'm worth. I'm able to work with fewer clients, and making more money equals more time with the family. So she's kind of gotten through that mindset a little bit, so that's working for her.
Yeah.
But for me, I remember when you asked me to charge $100 an hour, and I looked at you like, I can't. I don't feel good about that. And that was nothing.
And pay attention to that. So think about my journey. I met Pika when I was charging $1,000, but I was trying to get her to charge $100. And so I had to have this conversation with the ladies in my group because, people will tell you, I'm charging what I feel. And, August, you told, because I said, don't charge what makes sense. Now, here it is, as their coach, I'm sitting there telling them to calculate the cost, the time, because at the base, you can't charge less than this when you know how much you want per hour. But I don't train my clients to only consider charging by the hour. And now I'm like, look, I don't care what you want to charge. just fucking charge it and get it out there. I said, now let me be very clear that I'm not being a hypocrite, but as a coach, you know, you can only push people as far as they can go. And I love to compare coaching to athleticism. And that's why they have modified moves. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't stretch all the way down, you got yoga blocks. You know what I'm saying? You have positions to make it easier for you. And so sometimes no matter how bad I could want something for a person, I have to meet them where they're at, but still with a little extra push. But this is why, well, matter of fact, you want to say something?
No, you were talking about yoga right there, but yeah, you do have modified movements and stuff, but you also have the fact that you need to do whatever you can, however you can, as much as you can, but a little bit every day, so it gets easier. So with that being said, I had to put my prices out there, whatever they were, as ridiculously low as they were. I had to put it out there and continuously do it for a little while, so I didn't feel so badly about putting it out there in the first place. And then suddenly it became easier for me to ask for the money, and when it got easier to receive, I realized that, okay, you know what? No, this is actually way low. I need to up my game a little bit. But it's the matter of putting it out there. That first time sucked. It did not feel good.
And you know, and I think I might even switch gears on what I was about to say, because what happens with us is we get out here, we put out an offer, and if people don't bite immediately, what's the first thing we want to do?
Take it down.
You want to change.
Reduce it.
Mm-hmm. You want to change the price. And I tell you guys all the time, there are too many variables in entrepreneurship for you to just make decisions based on how one part of something works out. And so now, of course, I did need to get more clarity on my offer and stuff like that. But my first year in business, I didn't make a dime. I voraciously went to town. I wrote a lot of books. I was going to events. I was signing up for courses. I was going out of town, attending events, signing up for high ticket masterminds and doing all kinds of stuff. And the first year, I didn't make a dime. But that doesn't mean that everything that I did that first year doesn't matter, because when I finally got people to join a group coaching program, because see, my one-to-one clients were coming from networking events. Let me also make sure that I clear that up, because a lot of you guys, you try to examine someone's business and you can't. There's a strong amount of my business that is offline. There's a strong amount of my business that's online. And so these clients that were, you know, paying for double strategy sessions and stuff, these were people I was meeting in networking events, and people were like, oh my God, August is amazing. You need to work with her. That wasn't even from the online arena. But after launching the product 3 times, that 4th time when I launched it, what I didn't do is I didn't surrender the price. And then I finally got 4 people to sign up. But everything I did from then up into there played a role in my ability to get somebody to pay me, regardless of if that price point was perfect, too low, or too high. And so a lot of you really are not being mature enough to say that, wait a minute, I've been trying to sell to a non-ideal client audience. Wait a minute, I've been going live, but without any purpose or intention. I've actually been talking too much, giving too much. And we talked about that a little bit last week on one of the live videos. And so, but at the end of the day, every time you put an offer out there and someone doesn't sign up, that pain hits you. And that pain either hits your ego and you get scared and you reduce the price, or you become a for real entrepreneur, which is a professional problem solver, and you start saying, okay, well, do I change the name? Do I promote harder? Do I reach out more? What is it that I can do to be a part of the solution instead of being a person that's, you know, whining about what's not working out right? So fast forward a little bit, I got this program and I did a different iteration of it because I had a little bit more clarity. And I was doing a group, you guys, for literally only $97 a month. And I remember I had one client who wanted to start a group. I was like, girl, if you start a group, you cannot charge $97. She's like, August, what you're doing? I'm like, yeah, but I'm wrestling. I was always been very transparent with my clients. I said, this is not the way that you set this up. I said, but I'm wrestling with how long I go to term with this, because this is what I told people that I would do, but I'm telling you why it's a mistake. And so I was over-delivering, over-serving in a major way. And what felt good didn't feel good anymore. And I was like, fuck that shit. I'm closing this group. Y'all sitting there getting all these jewels and y'all ain't even working the way y'all supposed to be working. I went from having a group where people were paying me $197 a month. A few people still were grandfathered in the $97, to saying, y'all got to step up and do one-on-one coaching at $600 a month. And if you don't do that, you're going to lose this group. And I had launched the high ticket program. I launched it at 2222. And I had a woman in there who made just under 30,000 in 7 weeks. And I was like, fuck, I $2,000. And so then I had to go through another mindset shift. And so now when I do package price profit, which has gone through different names, it sticks at $4,000. But what happened is two things that people don't like to talk about. You should be able to walk in your own pride and you should walk in your own confidence. But a lot of times you do need social proof for yourself. You need to see what's happening to the people that you're working with. And when you see those results, you're like, dang it, I really am a rock star. I'm a genius. And then at that moment, you can immediately be like, anybody else coming in from here on out, I'm going to charge more. But another reason why I changed that group is because the energy in the group kept changing. I felt like I was fighting, like I was pressuring women to show up. And I would even go in the group like, what in the world is going on with you? You don't get somebody to give you this much and then you take it for granted. So then I would get off the live video and I'd be like, wait a minute, this sounds like a relationship where you dating a man. You don't make time for me. Do you know what kind of good woman I am? I wouldn't stay with that man. So that's why I wouldn't stay with those ladies. And I did. We had some hard conversations, and it also had to do with the fact that I saw the elevation with what was going on with my business, and I couldn't kind of be teeter-totter in both places. And so I had to shut that down, come back around full circle. I do still offer a lower ticket group coaching program, but I'm more aware of who that ideal client is. I'm not in there every freaking day like I used to be. I monitor how I serve so that people still need to work their way up the food chain to go to one-to-one. But my price point at the end of the day, what I'm really saying is just charge something. You said this before, Pika. Put a price out there. And when you start working, what you thought felt good will probably stop feeling good. And you'll finally realize that your coach or your mind was telling you the truth and you need to charge more. So I know that I'm saying a lot of things and I don't see any questions or anything popping up, and maybe it's coming on your side.
Not yet either. Not much, but even then I wanted to break it down. Like, let's do the latest, venture that I've been on. I've been doing meal prep for people. And no, not everybody wants to eat the same food every week or like for 7 days straight, but somebody wanted it and I was able to kind of like come up with something. But even then I felt bad for asking for so much. And it wasn't until you broke it down for me and said, yeah, but if I wanted to charge for a grocery buying service, then I could do a one-to-one. But I'm actually taking the time to prep the food, package it up, make sure that it's, got all the nutrients that it could possibly. I'm basically, it's alchemy, right? I'm buying the stuff, I'm turning it into something else, and then I'm selling the product. So it can't be one-to-one. And it made me feel better because I wanted to ask for more, but I didn't feel good about asking for more. It wasn't until you broke it down and said, well, how much time are you putting into it? And what, equipment do you have to upkeep? And all these little things that we take for granted all the time. So you think about the amount of experience you've lived through, all of the programs you've been through that didn't quite work out for you, all the money you spent, all the degrees you have, all the work experience in corporate America and outside of it, all the mindset work you've done, that costs something. I remember, I guess it's like a very silly and very crude example, but I remember somebody said, can you do a caricature of me? And this is like a really great artist. She's very good at what she does. And they said, yeah, okay, I can do it. So she drew it all out and everything. And then she went to ask for the price. And the people were like, oh my God, are you serious? Is that much? What can you give me for for a far lesser amount? And what she did was a stick figure, because what she's telling you is, it took her a long time and lots of paper to figure out how she could draw the way that she draws now. So for you to ask for a discount in the first place is kind of insulting once we've mustered up the courage to even ask for what we're worth. But it is taking into consideration all that stuff in the past that you've muddled through on your own, and you're offering the same advice to new people.
And that right there is so key. Some of you are walking in a state of fear, because you know what you should charge and you know what you want to charge and you know what feels good to your soul. But what you're doing is you're treating it once again like a dysfunctional, abusive relationship. It's like, but if I get out there and start dating again, well, I meet somebody else that's just like this. But a lot of you, because you started backwards, you were around people who never respected you, never understood your worth. They responded to you based on what you marketed, what you put out there, what you said you were worth. And so now what you're getting paid, or what they're not paying you at all, that is something that you created. And one of the most devastating things I did with a client that had a group was, I was like, okay, I had her because I kept telling her, your ideal client's not in there. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
because I would, I'd be in there scoping, looking. I said, your ideal clients aren't in there. I said, but this is what you do. So I was giving her all of these intriguing ass questions, and she was coming up with plenty of them on her own. And I mean, the engagement was through the roof. And I was like, okay, so now create a product and sell it to them. She's like, okay, I did it, and I did this, and crickets, crickets, crickets. I was like, be more bold, be more aggressive, say who you are, say what you want. And when she put a post out there and was like, I said, ask them flat out why they won't pay you. A lot of my clients, I make them do this. And about, at least 20 people came in that group and said, well, blankety blank, we already see you as our coach. You do this and you do that. My life is changed. I feel like this. I feel like that. Blah, 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 blah. So she was like, well, still at the end of the day, well, if you feel like I'm your coach and you want to keep getting this, now you got to pay me to be in this group, blah, 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 blah. And nobody, when I say nada, nobody signed up for the group. And it was such a devastating thing to have to watch a client go through. See, this is the ugly shit that people don't be want to talk about coaching. They just want to talk about, oh my God, you just come to me and I help you price your product, your service, and you get out there, you market yourself, and bam, you're in the money. Nah, it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Some of you guys, and anybody that's, especially now I'm going to use like construction, if demolition work or anything, anytime you had to go behind someone who's done a piss poor job with something, you usually have to strip stuff out and start over again in order to make sure that it's good to your specifications, to your calibration. And so a lot of you can't charge what you want to charge or what you need to charge because you are still trying to put your product or service in front of people who don't want you in the first place. And it is so scary to say, I fucked up and I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to start all over again. You want me to tell you what happened starting from scratch with me? Letting it be known I'm closing a group, letting it be known that I'm closing a group program. And what it meant was hitting my first 5K month in 2018. What it meant was in 2018, having my first 90 days, bringing in 20 grand just from one program, had nothing to do with one-to-one clients and other stuff. That's what it meant. Because it's like once the smoke cleared and I got rid of all of the fake a-holes that didn't really want anything to do with me, I opened up myself for the fans to come to the front row, front and center, and to be able to hear me. But what I need you to do is, regardless of if your coach said, charge $3,600 for this, $5,000 for this, $100 for this, if at the end of the day, I don't even care if you half of what they said, stand on what you said then. That's my biggest question. Why won't you stand on what you're saying? I can tell you all day long that you should be charging $250 per whatever it is, but your heart is at $175. Charge the $175. Don't look and say, okay, well, nobody's responding, and so maybe it really shouldn't be $175 yet. The feeling that is inside of you, that's what you're aligned to, and that's what you'll have the ability to be like, what? So you didn't know, you didn't hear that I actually do blank, 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 and I'm only doing it for this much? Oh, you haven't worked with somebody in this field until you work with somebody like me. And that energy in the sales conversation a lot of times is what causes someone to pivot. I was telling you guys, I believe, about the gentleman that's coming into the live challenge. As soon as we only had 2 minutes of conversation, he was like, I feel your vibe. I don't need to ask any more questions. I'm coming in. But he's not the first or the last person to do that. I am used to people saying, I'm ready to start right now. I'm used to people saying, where is the link? I'm used to people saying, I've been dying to work with you. I'll give you my last. I'll do whatever it is. I ain't special. Not to that respect. I'm special. Don't get it twisted. But you're special like that too. You're special enough that somebody can look at you and see you and say, you are the one that I need to work with. But if I tell you to charge a price point that you can't let roll off your tongue, like I love you, I'm whatever, then you're not going to be able to feel, you won't feel good. And it's that weird feeling where it was like, you say, I love you. But where's the emotion? I love you. No, it's the versus I love you. You know what I'm saying? People feel your energy. They hear your conversation, and a number that doesn't feel good to your soul is one that won't roll off of your tongue very well.
And I feel you, because you were talking about having a group and then clearing out a group because it was full of the wrong people. I know for a fact that there are groups that I've been in that they charge the price, we pay the price, and suddenly they're doing everything. They're bending over backwards trying to provide as much value as possible to justify the price in their own head. And you can kind of feel it because you're giving and giving and giving. And you've been talking lately about the cow and the milk in analogy, and how we're given too much of ourselves so that there is no room for tears or any of that stuff. So it's hard, but you do need to start somewhere. And once you start somewhere and you start talking to people, at least you know more of what you want to say. It took me saying who I am and what I do a lot, maybe for a full year, before I came to terms with being able to say what I do easily. I deal with emotional intelligence. I deal with emotional intelligence. At first, it sounded like I was making stuff up, but once I said it a couple hundred times, it wasn't so bad. And I feel like the same thing with money. When you start asking the same amount of money over and over again, without reducing the price, without over delivering, it becomes easier. And then you get a chance to get comfortable and then level up to the next level of whatever it is that you feel like you need to ask for.
No, absolutely. And some of you don't want to, you don't want to deal with the fact that, you can't get the glory without the grind. And some of you all don't even like to hear the word. You so damn woo-woo, it always gets on my nerves. I'm not going to use words like grind because grind is a word that just sounds like it's hard. And I'm going to manifest ease. Well, ease these nuts, because at the end of the day, I'm serious.
I love
At the end of the day, building a business is going to challenge you. Anything that is glorious is going to challenge you. Relationships, everything challenges you. And I want some people to ask some questions too. I'm putting the links in the different.
I'm waiting.
So you can come on here and be like, well, what about this scenario, August? And what about this scenario? Get it while the getting is good, because I'm feeling very generous. But back to my whole point is that a lot of you need to get rid of the expectation. And you don't want to wait, and you don't want to have fun, and you don't want to grow with the process. You just want everything to change right away. So if you put the offer out there, you're like, oh my God, but only one person signed up for my program. Well, you better rock it. Like, you got 50 million people up in there. It's like what I call, it's not a proverb, but I call it a biblical proverb, where it says that you must become a master. You must be, faithful over a little in order to be a master over plenty. And so you have to put in the work in order to reap what it is that you desire to sow. But every single program that I've ever had, it's always been a few people. And then this energy starts erupting, and more and more and more people keep hearing about August Crenshaw, keep hearing about these results, and people start funneling in and funneling in and funneling in. And a lot of you're looking at the numbers. Your expectation is so freaking high for you to have, when I know these people that say when they do launches that they sell out. And but did you ask what kind of connects they had? Did you ask what kind of affiliates they have? A lot of y'all got affiliates, but your affiliates are not aligned. You just got an affiliate off of GP that you're hoping that somebody else will promote your product or service. I see we got a couple people on here. I'm about to bring you on. I see we got Intellectual Chocolate.
I see Dana on here. What's up, Dana?
And Dana, I'm going to bring you guys on because I'm really interested on you guys, somebody else chiming in on this. But bottom line is you've got to start. You got to start somewhere. You got to let it evolve, and you got to let it grow. And some of you, while you think that you want 51 million people to say yes at your price point, you really don't, because you have priced it too low. And you need to get in the thick of it working with one or two people so that you can say, oh shit, I see God was protecting me. If I had 20 more people wanting this price point, I would die in my business. So Intellectual Chocolate, I'm bringing you on. I'm gonna unmute you. Can you hear me? Don't mute.
Welcome.
Okay, I can hear you.
Yay, hello.
Hey, this is Theron.
What's up, Theron girl? What's up? Come on, talk to me.
I really, what's your name? Pika?
Pika, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you said that, you started saying a certain amount and you got comfortable and then you probably upped it. I feel the same way now that I can, especially with different things. Okay, well, I just threw a number out there and they said, okay, they got it. Okay, well, if they gonna accept it, then I know I'm worth more, but I just want to put it out there, see if people will bite at that price point. And then I upped it some more, and folks were biting some more at they said, okay, to that price point. Yeah, that's what I really wanted to say. Y'all just hit the money when you were talking about earlier how men throw the big number out there and
Yes.
work the way down, and the women, we throw the lower number out there first. But I really think because we feel that we want to be able to help a lot of people, but that's not what we're supposed to do. And like for me right now with my stuff, I am throwing it is going to go up. I know my stuff is going to go up, but like August just said, I'm putting it out there. So I can get my testimonials and everything up, and then I will raise the price up later on.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think a lot of people need to hear the fact that that first price that you put out there is not going to be great, but you put it out there, and that's where you started at least.
Yes, I had someone tell me that my thing was, it's like, that's a low price. I said, okay, well, I just wanted to throw them out there and get some testimonials, get something in. And it was really low. It was like really low for a 6-week program. It was like low, but hey.
And I want to say this, my preference is that people don't just throw the low price out there, but let me make sure that I'm being very clear. The majority of you are not throwing out any price. So I need you to understand when I say throw something out there, it's not because I'm saying I'm going to accept the fact that you want to surrender yourself to offering a skeet offer. But what I am saying is I want you to at least ask for something. I look at women all the time, do live videos, give a bunch of nuggets, do workshops. Oh my God, I'm being called to speak here. A lot of these people y'all see on social media, baby, they always posing and they speaking for free. And there's nothing wrong with speaking for free, but because you didn't ask any questions, you didn't know that you're the only person that spoke for free. Even if it wasn't nothing but a $500 honorarium, everybody else got paid something, but you got paid nothing because you're not used to asking for money. And so get it out your system. I'm going to be honest with you. You don't need, and thank you, Theron, for being so real and so honest. But let me just say, you don't need testimonials. I'm just telling you that if that's what you say that you need, get it. I remember I had a client and I was like, what's up? And she had this product. It was $2,000. She's like, I really, really want to put it, at $3,500. I'm like, well, go ahead and do it. She's like, yeah, but I don't think I got enough testimonials. So like for me as a coach, I was like, okay, well, how many testimonials you need? She's like, huh? I was like, how many do you need? Do you need one kick-ass testimonial or do you need about 5 solid ones? Because whatever it is, if that's the truth, the lie, if that's the lie truth that you're going to tell yourself, now you have to take your lie and make it a reality. And when you get that one, then I want to see that price tag for $3,500. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's different strokes and I move differently with all of my clients. Some of them get a softer version of me. Some of them get like, for real, you want to put on the gloves? Then fine, fuck it. That's what we're going to do. But if it's going to make you a better person, then let's get it going. You know what I'm saying? But you need to put something out there. So I would much rather for you to go ahead and put an offer out there than for you to keep on volunteering, because that's what's not going to happen. And I'm going to bring Dana on here in a second. Sorry, Dana, I got you waiting a little second. People are not going to come to you and tell you that you're great. So like, for instance, with you, Pika, without telling your numbers in your business, you, like you said, you had an offer out there. Somebody asked you to do something. They even told you, yeah, what do you charge? Don't sell yourself short. You sold yourself hella short. You came into the group, you're like, yay! And I was like, what? Damn. Now, even though they told you don't sell yourself short, what you gave them is what they accepted. Now, because they were full of integrity, when you went back and said for the following week, this is how we have to make the adjustment, they were like, okay, that's cool. That I get it. That the price is on.
I got lucky.
You know what I'm saying? But girl.
I'm all of that. Yeah, I went way low, and mostly because it's not something I normally do. But even then, like, I should have researched it a little bit before I said anything. Before I opened my mouth, I should have researched it, and I didn't.
Yeah, or even just take the time to say, hey, I got my coach right here, and I'm just going to tap into it and say, this opportunity came to me, and before I reach out to this person, can you give me a little bit of guidance? So that, because it could have went worse. It could have been the person like, what? But they didn't do that. Let me just, I'm stopping with my full thought because I got silly. Let me bring Dana on here because it's about everybody else. I'm going to unmute you, beautiful. Come on, Dana Boo, what you got for us?
Where's she at?
Can you hear me?
Hey, Dana. Yes, ma'am.
Hey
Come
guys,
on.
what's going on? So this whole pricing thing is funny to me because I can tell you that I have not raised my prices ever. I have not raised my prices in the 9 years that I have been in business. And for me it was definitely a fear thing, but I kind of have been realizing that I think probably right before the holiday, I actually had a client tell me that I needed to raise my freaking prices. My own client who was paying me money, had been paying me money for a long time, was like, are you sure it's still this amount of money? Like, you haven't raised your prices in a while. You should probably raise your prices. And I was like, yeah, maybe that might be a good idea. I think for me in my business, I don't get people, when I stop getting people balking about the price, that's when I think that's where I need to start thinking about raising the price. If people just pull out their credit card and swipe and they don't even think twice about it, then am I not charging enough at that point? Because when I first moved into the area that I was in, I was more expensive than the people up the street. So I was getting lots of people that were like, oh, well, they do it for X amount of dollars up the street. But I'm like, okay, well, why are you here then? Like, if you were paying $20 cheaper up the street, then why are you here? And once I started to get confident in that, then I stopped making excuses. I stopped making discounts, which is what I used to do.
Ooh.
I would discount and give away services that I could be charging for just to make it not seem like I was raising my prices.
Now I'm gonna give you a couple of things. And so the safe way to say this is that you're not normal. You're freaking different. And I say that because I say that about myself. But what a lot of you guys do, you know, my fearfully, wonderfully made Christian audience, my peculiar, rare people, my, you know, whoever you are, all of a sudden you go to normal once it's time to price your products and your services. But it's funny, right? You went normal, or the word would be standard. You went with industry standards to price your products, but you give an extraordinary service. Ouch. And that's what it all boils down to. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Dana's video, but she's got a video where she was giving a dog a massage and it had that crooked lazy eye like a organ. Like, I'm like, I need to be right. I mean, the poor dog just was like, ooh. For people that's listening on the podcast, if you were watching on Facebook, you know, I'm serious. It's like the scene at the end of the Boomerang movie where the toes went up. Like, that's how intense. But this is part of her process, as opposed to, all right, come in, shampoo, shake it off, dry it off, blow, put it in the cage. Now your animal's groomed. Now I did my due diligence, my service for the day. It's not like that. And so when you really think about the fact that you're catering to a different type of audience, you will start charging for the experience instead of charging for the service that you provide. So it's about time that you stop thinking, oh my God, I'm different, I'm weird. Like, it's been like, girl, I'm different. I'm like hella different. Everything about me is different. When you come and entertain this space, the way I'm taking care of your pet is different. I am above industry standards, therefore you will pay me above industry rates. So let me get Marcia get some of this action on here. And if any of you have some other questions that are on here, just always raise your hand. But come on, Marcia, I'm gonna unmute you. What you on, child? Come on, give me some knowledge, girl. Why is it not unmuting? Are you trying to unmute yourself, Marcia? Don't do it. Let me do it. Okay, it's not working. All right, try to unmute yourself. This is like she be bringing some nuggets.
Here we go. Hey, Marcia.
I did it. Okay. Well, I'm not.
Welcome.
just a little bit. I'm a little late on it, but I know, I heard enough about the pricing. Just to give my perspective, because I offer a product rather than a service, my biggest challenge in getting my pricing at a good place, and I'm still working on it, is I think because as an artist, looking at it as an artist now, that whole concept of what's your price, that can be all over the place. Art is a totally different thing, and how you look at it and how others perceive it is how the price is. So I might say, oh, a pair of earrings should be $30, $40, $50, and I turn around and look at another artist, and theirs is under $50. But the challenge may be that and my respect for that particular artist has me comparing myself.
Yeah.
And that's really a bad way to approach it. Because there's always going to be some other artist that's lower than you, and maybe their work should be low. Or someone that's really much higher than you, but their approach and all of that is very different than mine. I'm offering something different in my work than what they're offering in their work. But they would tend to have these credentials behind them. Art school and art designer and graphic designer and this and that. I don't have all of these. I'm pretty much self-taught.
Yep.
Maybe I should tell myself, hey, self-taught is even more valuable than taught somewhere. I don't know how I should get my mind right about that, but that was making me compare. So I'm starting to move from that, but that was my biggest challenge, I think, is comparing myself and then really learning to say, this is art, what you're doing, and how do you price that? And you can't compare. Now, I may want to, you kind of look around. You do want to do your research and don't do something ridiculous. But I have seen artists sell something like a necklace, and I thought it was great that their work, they were charging $300, $400. And then I know of another artist, she teaches workshops. She's accessible. I could, be at her workshop and talk to her. She's that close. But she has been, recognized by the Smithsonian, and a necklace of hers is almost $3,000. So the range is so huge. It's so huge, but somewhere in there, I can find my right place, and I'm still working on it. But those are my challenges coming from that type of business. The product, but still working on it. And the market is also important. Who you're marketing to, identifying my ideal client and continuing to clarify that is really, really important here. Really important, because you want to make sure you're reaching the audience that you need to reach, who won't blink an eye at paying the $300 for a necklace, the $100 for the earrings, because there are plenty of people like that. I have friends that sell at that level, and they always chastise me. What's wrong with you? Why are you charging at that low price? It's like I'm bringing down everybody else's work by selling at those low prices. So they want me to get in line properly. So from my point of view, it's a different things I'm looking at when I price, but I'm beginning to get my mind in a better frame to really, get it to what I think is a proper place, especially based on what others have been telling me. August and others who do the same work that I do, always telling me. And my reluctance has been, I just didn't think I was comparable to some of the artists that I looked up to. And it's time for me to stop that. I've been doing this for a while now. And I've been doing my work.
The transparency, just so we can make sure we get somebody else. I see Anitra's hand up. You have so much that you said in everything. I'm going to try to respond really quickly to all of it. Like I said, when I did the research a long time ago, I did research what was going on around me, because that was what helped me benchmark a place to begin. But I really quickly realized, like you said, Dana, I said that at the beginning of this podcast, I was like, they paid me too fast. It's like they didn't even bat an eye. So I know I'm selling myself short. It wasn't even a little bit of pushback, So I had to adjust my prices, and it couldn't be based on anybody else. The other thing is credentials will kill us. And I mean, there's a lot of women that I see, and it's like, look, baby, you can go get you another certification. You can go get yourself another degree. You can go sign up and go work up under another coach. You can go through their programs. But when you get through, who said you needed all of those things? I wish somebody would ask me what certification program I went through. I went through nobody's certification program. But then what you go do is you go ask all of these women, wait a minute, how did they experience such a radical transformation? You know what I'm saying? When my transformation isn't there, then I will begin to question my ability as a coach. And many of you, you know, you fail to realize that I got this thing going on with my group. I got a couple ladies doing this thing that I call Up-Level Your Boss Mindset. And the journal entry to this day has had yet to not drive somebody emotionally to a level that they've never been at. That the first assignment, because of the criteria for the assignment, has been so challenging, and it has metamorphosed women, but that came strictly from my genius. And that's what's wrong with a lot of you guys, whether it's a product or service or an intellectual whether it's an intellectual damn it, you know what I'm trying to say, Vika. Anyway.
Yep. Your property.
Yeah, intellectual property. You're sleeping on your own genius. So I had signed up for a program, and the lady was like, you got to come with your signature offer, your signature course. And, you know, so my first question is, you know, what do you have people do when you help them? And so she's like, just think about one person. I'm thinking about one person. I'm sitting there saying to myself, okay, well, first of all, the first thing I do when I realize they ain't got confidence in themselves, I have to make sure they remember who they are. So I started asking them about what they, and I started talking myself through, and I was like, oh, so step 1, journal entry. Step 2, do this, and so on and so forth. And then I ended up creating a signature process to this day that still happens to be the bomb diggity. It was an opt-in that I created that never worked well out there in social media, but it has become a very great complimentary offer to give to my people without charging them when they decide to work with me on any level for free. You know, so you guys have genius inside of you. But on another note, the other side that people don't want to talk about is it's not about limiting yourself, but it is paying attention to, do you have your ideal client locked down, and who are you marketing? And some of you, where you are right now, you have to charge what you have to charge. So I'm going to say this really quick, Anitra, I am coming to you, baby. Please stay with me. There's a portion of a demographic that I've been marketing to, and I'm going to say it just plainly the way that it is. And I'm not saying that no other race has any issues, but to my sisters, it appears as if with the dilemmas that we're dealing with, I don't care if it's, you know, no child support / whatever, that there seems to be such a hard time with you all coming up for money to pay for coaching. There's a segment of you all that I've had you drop $2,000, $7,000, $4,000, $3,600. It doesn't matter. But I know what it feels like to be at the bottom, and I know what it feels like to still need help. And so because I don't believe in leaving any money on the table, then I'll do things like a live video challenge. But you know how many people say they got to get their money together to spend $47? But I refuse to disrespect a woman and say, oh, so you can't come up with $47 for a challenge? I don't know what your story is. You might not have $40 today because you just left a no good husband and started over living with your mama yesterday. So it's hard for you to have it tomorrow. And so with those type of things, you know, see, a lot of times we'll mix up ministry and business, and we'll want to be philanthropic. It goes back to something that both of you guys said earlier. Theron said it earlier about wanting to help everybody. And I don't want to help everybody, but I want to help everybody that wants to be helped. And sometimes wanting to help people that want to be helped, I got to meet them where they are. And it's your responsibility to make sure that when you put certain offers and stuff out there, that you make them in such a manner that they're a good fit for the audience that you're putting it out there for. And then you don't have a sell. I wish somebody would tell me, girl, you stupid for having a program where you only charge a base price of $197. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with my business. You don't know why I'm doing with my business. If it's still working, I'm still here, then let me do what it is that I do. But some of you all, you have the audacity to want to serve an underserved community, but then you still listening to these high ticket coaches and stuff like that telling you what you should charge. I've had people and I've looked at them and been like, girl, why is you charging $2 for this? This is a $7,500 program. I know because I have listened to the people who will not pay for this because it's not $7,500 and help metamorphose that person's life. I told you guys at the beginning of this, I have challenged every last single one of my clients' price points. But when you get in there and you start doing the digging and you do the research and you see the demographic that is around you, what is the extreme you can push them to? So I am now bringing Miss Anitra Boo on here. Please let me be the one to unmute you. Or you know what? Go ahead so we don't fight. Unmute yourself.
Wait, it ain't working.
It works. Hey.
Hey, ladies.
Speak up a little bit for me, beautiful.
Wait a minute. Can you hear me? I got hearing issues today. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Verizon, we can hear you.
Look, maybe I need to move it up a little closer to my lips. I don't know.
Maybe, you know what? Seriously, maybe take the part that you speak into and move it, hold it up by your mouth. You see how I do it sometimes on my live videos when it's windy, to make sure, because you are a little low.
Can you hear me now?
That's
No.
much better.
Ma'am.
You hear me now? You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear. Look, I don't have no earpiece in. I had to take it out of the holder, but it's all good. But what I wanted to say was share a little story, and you'll remember this, August, when you are not sure of your price point, you can hurt yourself in your own business. Mm-hmm. And what happened was, I had a lady that I had reached out, and we had been going back and forth. And what so happened was, we get on the phone, she's in a rush, she kind of has a conversation with me, and she says, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. I'm excited, like, okay, I got me another client, blah, 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 blah. And so in that rush of a conversation, I gave her a price point. And she was like, wait, that's too low. She's like, what I want you to do is I want you to think about what you just gave me, go back, write it out, and then send it back to me. And I ended up asking a few more questions to find out that she needed help with more than one program. She had several programs she had going on. So when I went back to make my price, what I would say about $5,000 more, she came back and she was like, yeah, well, I'm not really interested at this time. You don't fit into my budget. I was like, what? First, I give you a low price, then I come back, bump it up, and you're telling me that neither of the prices work for you? I'm a little confused. But see, in the beginning of your business, when you don't know your price points, and you get so excited because you're getting more clients here and there, and you're not real clear about your price points, you can mess yourself up. Yeah, that was just one particular situation, but it was a learning experience at the end of the day for me.
Yeah.
Because my initial price point was based on just using one of her services, just giving her a service for one of her programs, when she was actually looking for a service for 5 programs.
And I love this. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm loving this, right? Because we have someone, for those that don't know, Theron does coaching. We had Marcy, she sells jewelry, and now we have Anitra here, and she's a virtual assistant. And so look at this variation, you know, of the types of services that are provided. And so, and I remember that situation so well. And she was like, yeah, I had this conversation. I was like, no, why did you sit a bed before you talk to me? And one of the biggest things that you and I discussed very heavily was knowing how to ask questions. So when you have a business like Anitra's, where you can be a virtual assistant, where you may do more, you know, email setup, you may do more social media posting, or you may do course, you know, creation and mapping out campaigns. There's a variation in what you do, and why you can either just charge a bulk rate. You know, sometimes you are a la carte. What are you doing? And that doesn't mean that you still won't charge a premium price, but we've got different reasons why those price points may change. But the key was in the questions that she asked. And so there were I was hammering in. Did you ask this? You asked this. Why didn't you ask this? What are you thinking? Think about how you word. Think about what you're going to do. That way, then you can give the appropriate price. And so that was another game changer, like you said, in your situation. And it also allowed you to see some things about that person. And so going forward, anybody else that's in that so-called position, you're going to have a much more direct conversation, because she came back like a boss. And and trust me, Anitra didn't just throw $5,000 on her because, oh, she said I'm not charging enough. I'll show her. She's like, whoa. And I was like, come on, let's look at this. If this woman is going to need all of your time, you're not even going to be able to have any other clients. And so when you think about what you need every month in order to make it and blah, 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 a lot of factors went into what that looked like. And even though that person ended up not taking it, because you and I both know that that individual really wanted, that's why she runs through VAs instead of a virtual manager, but we're not going to go there because she's not a bad person, but still she had her price in her mind. And sometimes you have to ask people that. A lot of you guys, you really won't just ask the hard questions. When I come to somebody and I'm like, hey, I got this, they like, and I'll be like, well, is the price uncomfortable for you? Is there a problem? Oh no, it's not that it's a problem. Okay, well, I'm just saying, cause so a lot of y'all don't want to confront people about money. I will though. I don't care whether it's a $47 offer or it's a $10,000 offer. I'm gonna be like, yeah, what about this? You know, do you not see the value? Do you not believe I'm able to deliver? Oh no, it's not that. Blah, blah, blah. So it's you, right? You know what I'm saying? I'll do that in a heartbeat. But when it comes to pricing, you know, this is one of those conversations where we can break this down several ways. Backwards, forwards, around again, and maybe we'll just take, you know, specific components of it. But my thing, ladies, is just get out there and charge something. Now, ultimately, I don't want you to just charge something. I want you to get guidance. If you don't already have guidance, of course, I want you to reach out to me. I want you to talk to me. I want you to have the free connection call. Hell, some of y'all need to just stop playing and go on my website and go to services and click DWI, done with you, and come in to fix your business and get shit together. And if you need more help than that, but you can't afford one-to-one coaching, do not, you know, get all in a tizzy. I got levels. I got tiers in my groups where you can get more of what it is that you need, but you need some training. You also need a tribe of women that are going to be around you that are going to be like, look, baby girl, been there, did that, done that already. I remember when August worked through that with me, and this is where, and that helps other women elevate faster. They don't take as long to go through some of the other struggles when a bunch of other women. It's something about your mind that you finally start saying, I can do this. I got this, when there are a bunch of other women around you that are feeling and saying the exact same thing. So what are your ending comments, Peekaboo?
Honestly, from an emotional standpoint, I think that we hit a lot of different nerve endings on this one. I think that, yes, we need to do the research, but we can't compare ourselves, right? We got to put something out there, and then eventually we got to man up and charge what we're worth. But when you were talking about coming into your groups and having a tribe of women around, I think that's what shortcut my learning process a lot more, because I have people like Camille come in there. And back when I was in a group with you and Imani, she would come in there, and Damari would come in there, and she'd be like, you know, I did this and I tried this a couple times and it didn't work, and I had to revamp the whole thing. But I tried a couple times to understand that it didn't work that way first. So yes, instead of having a coach and then going back and trying to sort through your feelings on your own, to have a group around you, shortcut a lot of that for me, because then I can see that, yeah, okay, you're tough on everybody. You're not just tough on me. I don't have to sort that out on my own. You are very direct. You're not going to beat around the bush, because we don't have that kind of time. We're trying to get some stuff done, right? So that's the kind of stuff I need. And Dana says, having a tribe in the group keeps you accountable too. There's no hiding behind your BS. Yes, absolutely. I don't need any more excuses to hide behind my BS. I was doing that fine on my own without a coach. But the point of having a coach is for you to show that mirror to me and be like, Pika, what are you doing? Stop being busy. Go be productive.
Yeah, and I want to add 2 cents to that. And matter of fact, all 3 of these ladies in here could say something about that. But no, I'm never picking on anybody. And sometimes, you know, when you got a coach that's really believing in you, that's what I'm talking about. When I'm really believing somebody and I see something, then I'm getting to the root of it. I'm pushing, I'm going hard for it. And I do have clients sometimes that feel that way, but then there are other people that like, no, that's just August, you know. But I tell my clients all the time, if you tell me that this is your goal, then as a coach, I'm going to make sure that I push you to that point. I'm not going to push you somewhere you don't want to be, but I'm definitely not going to push you less than where you desire to go. I'm on you, you know, for whatever it is that your expectations are. So pricing is a tricky thing. If nothing else, you guys, some of you need to really test whether or not you're truly charging, period. So we're getting ready to get out of here. Communicating your offer and being able to speak to people is critical. For those of you that have been listening in for quite some time now, you already know that tomorrow is the big day. And so understanding how to communicate your offer in such a manner that people are contagiously attracted to you and want to work with you. And if you want to use live video, and as my girlfriend said on Kiki said on Imani's post, if you're going live but you're getting comments and not commas, then there's something that you're not doing right. And so for $47, I am doing a live video workshop. It starts tomorrow, but sign in, get in as soon as you can, because you have an entire week to be in the challenge afterwards to still get access to the materials, to study, to learn, and to grow. And I'm going to be in there live every day doing the instructional piece, and then later on doing Q&A. So this is part of my give back. This is part of how I help people out to mature in your journey. This is a no-brainer. You don't think about it. 5 days of coaching for less than $10 a day. Quit bullshitting. Come on in there. Allow me to love on you and also push you to your greatness. Help you understand how to communicate your offer so more people come to you like, yep, I just want to work with you, and you don't even have to sell as hard. So NT Who, it has been a pleasure. Thank you, Miss Karen, Anitra, Dana, and of course my beautiful co-host, Peekaboo, for always being here. Thank you for all of the listeners. Thank you for everybody that's chiming in. Thank you for everybody that's getting the word out about the podcast. And we will be back every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Join us. Come chime in. If you got to call in, call in. If you got to zoom in, zoom in. Whatever it is, just chime in. Come join the conversation.
Yes, come join us. So in the meantime, between time, we are Audi 5000 G.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire